Okay, yeah, it's happening. We're getting ourselves a pretty interesting winter storm for the East Coast. We kind of thought it was boom or bust. This wasn't one of the ones that looked like it was going to be, okay, it'll happen, but it might only be 2, 3 inches. Nope, it was either going to be a big deal or it wasn't. It was just a matter if everything came apart. But it's not just about the East Coast. We've got lake effect snow on the backside. We got a little bit of a system that comes together. It's known as a Miller B, where you got multiple different waves that are going to come on in. So let's get to everything because there's plenty to talk about. So winter storm watch is already out now across Baltimore to Philly, New York, across all of Jersey, up into Connecticut, and then you have winter storm warnings already for portions of far upstate New York into New England. Don't know why it went into the middle portion of the country, but it did, and we're okay with that. This is the next wave that's going to be moving on across portions of the Great Lakes. This is going to bring in an initial batch of snow. It's going to form in with another low that's going to be developing off the coast, and this is going to transfer its energy into that coastal low, and there you can see that rotation, big old drop in pressure. It's going to bomb out, and it will be a true February nor'easter for New York City and Boston. Due for a bigger one. It'll be pretty big. It's not going to be anything crazy record breaking or anything like that. Lots of wind reports right now with 40, 50 mile per hour gusts across portions of Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania. We have some snow accumulation off across portions of upstate New York, but the rainfall has now moved out of much of Jersey and New York City after that first wave. And you can see here into the Albany area where we are currently seeing that snow and mix move on out. Some reports of, let me see if I could stop the animation here and look at some of these different totals. You got 3.5, Ballston Spa, Palatine Bridge, 2 inches, 3.2 there in Cohees. So yeah, some snowfall definitely falling on down. Temperature-wise, 38 degrees back into Cleveland, 30 in Chicago. It's 60 though in Pittsburgh, so hello cold front. 54 in DC, 37 New York City right now. So definitely some pretty major differences with the temperatures. Plenty of wind. We have those 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts, very widespread, lots of spots around 40 miles per hour, but we've accumulated isolated gusts in spots of 50 miles per hour for certain here and there. We are going to continue to see that snow move on through in chunks across like Syracuse into Albany. We'll start to get into just a tiny bit of enhancement off of Lake Ontario, but most of it moves off towards the north and east. Along that trough, we'll see it scatter itself around into the day for tomorrow. Zooming on out, showing that next system develop. Notice 2 waves here. Let me go and explain this maybe a little bit better with the green screen here. So you can see the wave here and the wave here, and watch how they're going to slide together. This low comes down and connected with the trough. This is going to be the developing coastal system. And with that, this is going to be some widespread snow showers, and eventually we'll change the winds around and get lake effect. But this is the bigger system really starting to get its act together. And notice it's not just all snow. It's going to be marginal temperatures. So we're talking very wet snow. We're talking rain to a mix all in there. So while the models might be printing out some crazy snowfall accumulations, it's going to compact a lot because snowfall ratios might be 6 to 1, 8 to 1. At the height of the storm, 10 to 1 or 12 to 1. So we're not talking about 15 to 1, 21 to, ratios. There's the lake effect bands that we'll see out across portions of Michigan and Ohio. Widespread snow everywhere you go. Long Island, Hartford, Connecticut, Albany area, Syracuse, State College, all getting out on the snow. But the heavy stuff here around kind of Baltimore through Delaware, much of Jersey here into portions Providence, Boston. This is going to be a very dominant storm here as going on towards later Sunday night into Monday morning, still around. And it will not be getting its act out of here super quick. So you notice still snow showers along the East Coast late Monday morning. Some snow bands further off towards the west coming off of the Great Lakes. Still some upslope or up against the terrain there. A few flakes getting on in towards maybe Baltimore and Washington, but the system pulls out of New York and Long Island and still into Boston through the afternoon, evening. And then, active pattern. Active pattern. You don't even get a little break another system sliding on into the Great Lakes, into Ohio as we go on in towards your Tuesday morning, and there'll be more to talk about midweek too. So you can see the range of different options with these models. The GFS, which is the American model, is not a great model. It's just not. I don't think it's one of the worst in the world or anything like that, but a lot of times we'll look more into the European model and the Canadian model and even the German model. And the GFS was the one that showed a big storm pretty consistently. The other models really didn't bite, but now obviously getting in some better agreement, especially over the last few to several hours. So very high risk of some pretty significant snow, 6 to 12 plus inches there across much of New Jersey, across portions of Long Island, New York City area, and then hugging like up into Cape Cod and Boston. But you'll still have very moderate chances of seeing that 6-inch all the way into Baltimore, Washington. And then it's going to be a lot lower chances of that, but it's not 100% rolled out further off towards the west. So we will look at snowfall maps here in just a little tiny bit. Let's see if we can take a look. Well, potential wind gusts first. Why not? It's going to get windy as well. I mean, look at these winds along the coast. You're talking 40 miles per hour being pretty common. I think there'll be some 50 mile per hour gusts. So you're talking about heavy snow during this. 45, 50 mile per hour type gusts. This is significant because that's blizzard conditions. Yeah, definitely some blizzard chances there for coastal areas. I mean, even into DC, Baltimore, even into Albany. I mean, that's windy. It's going to cause blowing and drifting significantly. And then for the coastal areas, you're watching for the tidal flooding, the surge coming in from this big old nor'easters. You see those intense winds really ramp up. And yes, Long Island there. How about 65 mile per hour winds? In towards the Providence, Boston area, 50 to 60 plus mile per hour gusts back into Pittsburgh, Cleveland, maybe your 25, 30 mile per hour gusts. So definitely looking at the significance with the wind. This is definitely more for kind of that New York, Atlantic City, Philadelphia area here. Temperatures staying around 32 with that moderate flooding along the coast. That's not obviously something that we like to see. Very heavy, wet snow, so very heavy to push. This is the first wave just through tonight in towards tomorrow early on. You can see there north of Saratoga Springs picking up a good few additional inches, but Albany and south, there's really not that much more going on. As we go on in towards the start of the event, there'll be the Little Lake effect, Erie to Buffalo. And then here's the snowfall starting to add up. Let me zoom on out, show back to the west there. You'll see several inches possible in northwest Indiana, southwest portions of Michigan. This will add up to be probably a widespread 2 to 6 inches or so into the areas of not only the primary snowbelt, but also secondary snowbelt areas of northern Ohio. Again, I think you're talking about 2 to 4 being very widespread, but some spots could be 6 inches plus. You're talking about a good 2 or 3 inches likely across east central Ohio into the Pittsburgh area. And then, yes, let's show you some of the bigger type totals. As we go on in towards maybe DC, it's 4 or 6 inches in spots. And then Dover, Atlantic City, Lakewood, Trenton, Philly, Allentown, you're into that foot plus possibility. Same with New York City. Same with Poughkeepsie. Then as you go north, you really lose a lot of that, and it's more like maybe 3 to 6 inches or so. So I want to caution you about these amounts because we've had so much inconsistency. Are we going to get a major snow? Is it going to be a widespread 5 to 10 inches or so? Yeah, very likely. Could it be 15 inches plus in spots that falls? Yes, but again, very wet snow. It's going to compact. When you're going to measure this, even if it shows on this map 15, 20 inches of snow and that verifies of what falls from the sky, you're going to measure maybe a foot. So it will compact down, but regardless, this is a big deal type of an event, that is for sure. No doubt about it. Temperatures, we'll transition a little bit and talk about those. You're going to be pretty chilly on the backside of this, lots of 20s and 30s. as we go throughout your Monday and Tuesday into your Wednesday. But notice, getting pretty warm again across the middle portion of the country, and some of that milder weather will push on in to areas of the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic at least, but staying kind of chilly into the Northeast as we go throughout Wednesday and Thursday, kind of up and down there, more towards western PA and points west. So after that system, here comes the next one. So you got Tuesday, you got Wednesday for a system. It's a very active pattern. We talked about this in the long-range forecast. And then as you go on in towards later portions of Wednesday, that likely moves into the East Coast with colder air back behind it, and then more warm-ups back behind that. This swings through as a very normal type system, a couple inches of snow or so. No, not a big deal. But oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. There could even be another one that slides right back in. So a very active stretch as we go into next week. Some of this will be a mix, some of this will be rain, but yes, some areas will see an additional couple inches of snow multiple different times throughout next week, and that's why it looks like a pretty decent corridor there from maybe like Minnesota, Iowa, through Chicago, through Michigan, through northern Ohio, through Pennsylvania, and then yeah, definitely going to add up across all of the Northeast at that point. That's why no changes, above average precipitation will be likely over the next 6 to 10 days. Temperatures very warm across the middle portion of the country. Yes, it will probably be milder than average Chicago and east, but again, I've said this a few times. I think this is overdone. I don't think it's going to be that far above average into the East Coast as we go into the far end of the month. But yes, we will have our above average periods for sure. We got a lot, obviously, that are going to be coming out product-wise with details. We'll have more information, and happy to answer all of your questions. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you, and be safe.